Have you ever felt insecure about your side profile? Well, here is exactly how to fix it. No lies, no BS, just straight to the point, absolute gold dust. And mind the new background. This is just a one-off thing. I'm staying with the goat himself, Eric, one of my first clients who's invited me out. But let's get cracking on how to finally fix your side profile. It is not natural to have a recessed jaw. You should have a proper jawline. You should have developed cheekbones. You should have a straight nose, and you should have full confidence in the way you look and feel. First things off the bat, what you need to realize is the base of all of this, which are the 4 key habits: chewing, swallowing, breathing, and posture, the 4 key myofunctional habits. You should not have a recessed jaw. It is not natural for you to be sitting in this position when you're in class. It is not natural for you to be sitting and working on your desk like this. The base that supports your head is your neck. So if you can fix and activate your SCM, your sternocleidomastoid muscles on your neck, activate and support your cranium, just to activate and support your cranium, because your neck supports your head and your maxilla, the key bone in your face, will be allowed to develop upwards and forwards properly. That is the base of all this: posture, chewing, swallowing, breathing. Obviously, you should have proper posture, but it isn't as easy as just saying sit up straight, because the most important thing is this needs to be a permanent subconscious shift when you're sleeping, when you're working and you're really focused and you're not thinking about your posture. These are the key times where you should have flawless, perfect habits, so that over a longer period of time, all of this can compound and actually change, loosen the sutures in your face, develop your bone structure upwards and forwards, and positively impact your breathing, your sleep, your quality of health, your quality of life, and therefore every aspect. Health is the only thing that is a catalyst for every aspect of your life: productivity, efficiency, looks, relationships, fulfillment, purpose. All of this is from a base of health. So if you want to improve your side profile, fix the 4 key habits. I have a full video detailing on the actions to start getting cracking on that. But the most important one, which I'm going to talk about right now, is probably chewing. The reason being, the jaw and your bone structure get developed through a process called mechanotransduction, which is basically the process of chewing and activating and developing the master muscles, creating osteoblasts to create bone development in your face. And this happens when you chew intensely. Your masters are the strongest muscles within your face. You need to be chewing properly, each bite 25 plus times. And if you're eating foods that you can't chew properly, you shouldn't be eating them. Obviously, fruit's an exception, but if you're eating, mushy peas, obviously it's because you shouldn't be eating them. You need to be consuming meat. You need to be consuming foods that you can either drink and not chew at all and swallow properly, or foods that you can chew in order to induce mechanotransduction, develop your bone structure, and start chewing properly. Seems easy, but it is genuinely the most fundamental thing, and it's what no one will tell you, because they are all trying to sell you these quick fixes. Second thing off the bat, what you need to realize is that your tongue is also directly related to the development and structure of your face. Similarly with your teeth aren't as malleable, they aren't as trainable. If you have your wisdom teeth removed, you can't just grow them back. Obviously, it's a quick little piece of advice: don't get your wisdom teeth removed. Don't be absolutely cooked. By the way, I forgot to say, this is a legendary video, but linking with your tongue, the most basic and easy thing that you can begin to practice is an exercise called tongue chewing. Leveraging a piece of gum, ideally, natural, non-plastic gum. You can't really use mastic gum because it is too difficult. I'm going to press the focus button so you can see the background. But yeah, what you should be doing is pressing a piece of gum against the roof of your mouth with the tip of your tongue like this. Repeatedly doing it over and over, and that will activate a muscle in your tongue called the genioglossus muscle, which is basically the most important muscle in your tongue for activating your tongue, releasing the tension. The fascia in your face, the epicranial fascia, which I'll talk about in another video, is directly linked to every single fascia within your body, and your tongue is where it stores a load of tension. So if you can activate the right muscles, release the tension within your tongue so that your tongue can stay up against the roof of your mouth, so you can have better tongue posture, your head will develop upwards and forwards. If your tongue is not suctioned against the roof of your mouth as a base habit, then you're hopeless, to be honest. Mewing isn't good because you shouldn't be focusing on having to do it, but you need to be getting it to the point where subconsciously you are consistently having proper tongue posture. It's not a habit, it's not a cringe mewing technique, it is literally just a natural necessity. I'd recommend tongue chewing for about 15 minutes a day, just while you're walking, working, talking, or not talking, walking, working kind of thing. And at the same time, I know this may seem like a lot, and I'm going to get into a lot more detailed points on really how to tackle this stuff. If you ever need any one-on-one help, if you want to reach out to me personally, if you want to work with people directly who are doing the exact same mission and are focused on improving their looks by fixing their health, and the cringe looks maxing BS, just literally health maxing, which is the most important thing in life, you can get access to loads of full guides, a full community, one-on-one access with me, Q&A calls with me, Q&A calls with external speakers, thousands of dollars worth of chat challenges, all in the link in the description, which is my school community. The #1 health-based community in the world, is the #1 community in the world right now for a reason, and I would highly recommend joining it. But I'm going to move on and focus on the rest of this video. Now, we've nailed chewing, tongue chewing as well, which, although they sound similar, are completely different things. We're also going to talk about some other slightly more technical stuff. The other thing that you really need to do is basically really focus on engaging the back neck muscles, the SCM muscles and the back neck muscles. The most fundamental aspect of this is training the back of your neck. Obviously, the front of your neck is absolutely crucial for neck width. You'll see my neck is naturally very skinny. I've had to train it very much and it's still not that thin or that thick. But the back neck muscles are much more important for cranium support and actually allowing your head to stay upright. On a base level, you can't skip the step. You can do all that you want with your face, but if your neck isn't properly positioned, if your muscles aren't activated properly, then you're not going to be able to get the results that you want. So anyone you're struggling to see the results, it's probably because you're missing some other key foundational features. This will even link to your upper back supports your neck, your lower back supports your upper back, your hamstrings support your bum, like all of these things. Your body is a system. You can't just train it in isolation. That's why the premise of this, to train and develop the back, neck, your posture, and support your head properly, you need to be doing these two things. The first one is neck extensions, putting a weighted plate on the back of your head, curling your neck backwards and activating the back neck muscles. At the same time, you can also get a device on Amazon if you really want to go for it over the top, but it might be useful. You can also hold your hands on your head, but I think it's a bit less effective than a plate. I'd highly recommend forced weight, really high weight resistance. At the same time, you also need to be training your body functionally, training in the right patterns of kinetic motion. If you're not doing this, and the most fundamental example of this is sprinting, if you're not training functionally, how can you expect your body to be healthy? If you mind my hair, by the way, if you're trying to train your body and your muscles in isolation, how can you expect to be fast, to be agile, to be strong, to be healthy looking? All of these things, a well-developed side profile, well-developed jaw, are all health indicators. These are all byproducts of being healthy because we are animals. We are biologically hardwired to pick the healthiest mate. You need to be training your body functionally. The best thing I can recommend is actually training with a mace bell. There are loads of videos on YouTube. Maybe I'll do a video of my actual routine on this, but I'd highly recommend training with a mace bell, an Indian club bell, or at least starting with sprints and then hopefully progressing to weighted sprinting. Functional training and neck extensions will also directly link to your side profile, fix your insecurities. Insecurities aren't real because you can always take action on them. Stop sitting there worrying. Even if you're already good looking, you can always improve. So just nail it. Now, linking into the final point. Along with these things, there are a lot of smaller things you can do. Linked to these things are examples such as nasion growth, which is you can superficially make your nose straight if you have a nose bump by basically repeatedly tapping the nasion bone in order to balance out your nose and make it appear straight, because then the bump gets concealed. At the same time, what I use is a gua sha for that. I have a full video on YouTube explaining how to do it. At the same time, you can also do things like zygo pulling to develop your cheekbones upwards and forwards. Your cheekbones are partly genetic in terms of placement, but in terms of actual density of bone and development, they are directly linked to the development of the zygomatic maxillary suture, which is mostly linked to people with proper habits will have more developed cheekbones because their sutures are looser, their posture is better, and they'll get permanent 24/7 results because you will literally be having proper tongue posture, mewing while sleeping. So I'd highly recommend zygo pulling as well. I know these are a lot of terms. I do have a lot of videos on how to explain them. And again, you can also get full access to me and like-minded people and access to everything in one place with the link in the description. It may sound like I'm selling something. It is just a community. I'm not selling anything. This is just a kind of carrier of health. I'm basically, my whole mission is everyone's unhealthy, society's cooked. If you can return to natural health in a world that is really riddled with obesity, unhealthy hormones, terrible underdevelopment, terrible pesticides, all of these things, you can return to natural health and reclaim it. it becomes very easy. I'm just a carrier of that information. All of the people in the community probably know as much as me these days. Also, I was going to stop the video, but I just forgot there is one final thing, and this is probably the most underrated thing, which is essentially wearing zygomatic tape and also mentalis tape. Tape from the top of your ear, under your cheekbone to the side of your mouth on each side, and also tape across your chin, creating an X with the middle of the X being on the dimple of your chin. It seems very odd, but let me just explain to you the mechanism, which is essentially if you can deactivate the buccal muscles, if you can deactivate the mentalis muscles, you will be forced to maintain a proper lip seal, encouraged to have the top of your tongue against the roof of your mouth, and at the same time you will prevent mouth breathing. You will incentivize your body not to grind your teeth. You incentivize your body to have proper posture. Your body takes the easiest route, the path of least resistance, every single time. So if you can basically wear just a piece of tape deactivating these muscles and literally just making it slightly easier for your body to breathe through your nose rather than your mouth, your body will take that option. Same thing with tongue posture, same thing with everything. Your body is innately lazy. It's lazy in a bad way as well, because it's fine if it's lazy and it's naturally mewing. It's lazy because it's been taught to have these terrible habits, because we are constantly exposed to blue light. We are constantly exposed to processed food. We're constantly having terrible habits, sleeping in a terrible way, and ruining our hormones. So basically, wear zygomatic tape, wear mentalis tape. I will make a full video detailing exactly how to go about it and how to wear it. It is truly a game changer. It is so cheap, so easy to do, and so worthwhile, to be honest. It may sound gimmicky. Just try it, and when you get the results, you can thank me later. But this was how to improve your side profile. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a pretty goated video. I'm going to make and crush out a load of content, a lot of big things happening, another vlog, a lot more stuff. So stay tuned. We are taking over YouTube, and thank you, because hopefully we're about to hit 100,000 subscribers. You're all legends, and wishing you the absolute best. Take action, reclaim your health, no more excuses. Literally easy as that.